आज ही डाउटनेट ऐप डाउनलोड करें। डाउटनेट पर होगा अब आपके सभी मैथ्स, केमिस्ट्री, फिजिक्स और बायोलॉजी डाउट्स का सफाया। बस अपने क्वेश्चन की फोटो खींचो, उसे क्रॉप करो और तुरंत वीडियो सोल्यूशन पाओ। डाउनलोड नाउ।
Here, the question is, the volume of a metal in a hollow sphere is constant if the inner radius is increasing at the rate of 1 centimeter per second. Find the rate of increase of the outer radius when the radii are 4 centimeter and 8 centimeter respectively, right? So now, as the question says that volume of a metal in hollow sphere is constant, right? So we know that the volume of a hollow sphere. Now let me write here. Now here in this question we are representing the volume by capital of V. So we can say that volume of hollow sphere is 4 by 3. As we know that 4 by 3 pi into capital of R cube minus small of R cube. Here let me write that here this capital of R is outer radius of the metal, and this small of R is inner radius of the metal, inner radius of the metal, right? So we know that the volume of a hollow sphere whose inner radius is small of r and inner radius is small of r and outer radius is capital of R is equals to 4 by 3 pi into capital of R cube minus of R cube, right? Now as the question says that volume of a metal in hollow sphere is constant, this means here it is given that there is no change in the volume, so we can say that dV by dt is equals to 0, is equals to 0. This is what, this is the change in volume with respect to time. And here as the question says that volume of metal in a hollow sphere is constant, so we can say that this du by dt is equals to 0. So from here we can say that we have given that 4 by 3 pi, let write it later. Now here as the question says that in the inner radius is, if the inner radius is increasing at the rate of 1 centimeter per second. This means here as we are having inner radius as small of r, so here it is given that this d of small of r by dt is equals to 1 centimeter per second, 1 centimeter per second, right? And the question says that find the rate of increase of outer radius. This means this question says to find d of capital R by dt, this, right? And when the small of r is equals to 4 centimeter, let me write, when small of r is 4 centimeter and capital of R, that means outer radii, is equals to 8 centimeter. The question says to find this dr by dt, d of capital R by dt, when small of r is 4 centimeter and capital of R is 8 centimeter, right? Now here as we are having v is equals to 4 by 3 pi into r cube minus capital of R cube minus small of r cube, right? Now here if we differentiate this, then here we can write it as that we are having dv by dt is equals to, here this 4 by 3 pi is constant, so it is as it is, and this differentiation of this r cube with respect to t is 3r cube minus 3r cube dr by, let me correct here, it is not 3r cube. Here as we are having, as we have to differentiate this r cube, so differentiation of this capital of r cube is 3 of capital of r square into d of capital of R by dt minus differentiation of the small of r cube is 3 of small of r square into d of small r by dt, right? Now here if we take 3 common from here, then we can clearly say that this 3 get cancelled with this 3, so we can write here that 4 pi is equals to capital of R square dr by dt minus 3 of, it is not 3 here as the 3 got cancelled by taking common and then cancelled with this. Now here minus of r square into d of small r by dt, right? Now as per given in question that d of v by dt is equals to 0, this means we can say that this whole equals to 0, and if this whole equals to 0, then we can say that here we are having capital of r square into d of r by dt is equals to the small of r square, and as we are having this d of small r by dt is equals to 1, so we can write here 1, this multiplied with 1, right? Now as we have given in this question that we have to find this dr by dt when capital of R is equals to 8, that means here we are having d of capital R by dt is equals to small of r square, that means 4 square, 4 square is 16, and this divide by capital of r square, that is 8, so 8 square is 64. Now if we solve this, then we can see that the 16 got cancelled with the 64 at 4. So we can say that from here we can say that we get dr by dt is equals to 1 by 4 centimeter cube per second, right? Now let me tell you that how I am writing that the differentiation of this 4 by 3 pi r cube minus small of r cube is this 4 by 3 pi into 3r square into d of capital R by dt and this whole. So now let me write here that when we are differentiating d of x raised to power n with respect to d of x, then we have to write it as n into x raised to power n minus 1 when we are differentiating this x function with respect to x, right? But when we are differentiating this x function, that x raised to power n, with respect to, let's say, any other function that is y, so we have to write it as n into x raised to power n minus 1 into dx by dy. And if there is any constant to multiply it or divide with this function, then it is as it is with this result, right? So here you can clearly see that we are having this 4 by 3 pi as constant term, so it is as it is. Now here this r cube, the differentiation of r, this capital of r cube and this small of r cube with respect to this t is this 3r squared into d of capital R by dt minus 3r square into small of dr by dt, right? Small of r into d by dt, right? Now here this is by using chain rule. This is also known as by using chain rule. So here we have differentiated this by using chain rule, and as the question says to find the rate of increase of outer radius, so we can say that the rate of increase of outer radius is 1 by 4. Let me correct here, it is not cube. Here it is as radius, this means it is centimeter only, 1 by 4 centimeter per second, and hence we can say that this is our final answer. Thank you.
क्लास 6 से 12 से लेके नीट IIT JEE मेंस और एडवांस के लेवल तक 10 मिलियन से ज़्यादा स्टूडेंट्स का भरोसा। आज ही डाउनलोड करें डाउटनेट ऐप या व्हाट्सएप कीजिए अपने डाउट्स 8400 400 400 पर।